What is going on? And welcome to the OnePride podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. And we got a show to cover in today's video. We're going to be doing a lot of QA today. Why is that? Because it is fun, free agency. Why is that? It's coming up. NFL draft. Well, because it is the future and just the latest Lions news and rumors. Appreciate everybody jumping in the building. What up, doe? What up, doe, everybody? Good evening. Happy Thursday to you folks. I actually have a radio interview I got to do at 8 p.m. in Lowell, Michigan, 94.9. So if you are in West Michigan area, I'll be on the radio talking about the Lions. Probably, I'm going to assume 30, 45 minutes. It's usually what they do. So 8 p.m. here in a couple hours. That's why I'm doing this right. Meow. Tater in the building. Hassanin, what's up, man? Appreciate you in the building. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. What's up, or go Lions? Yes, yes, yes. Hopefully everybody is doing great on this beautiful day. Now, in West Michigan right now, it's really sunny. And it is nice to see the sun. It has been a long time, it feels like, to see the sun in Michigan. So as we're getting closer to summer or spring and summer, it's a good thing for us because it stays lighter out and the heat is coming back. Unlike you, Hassanin, in Egypt, my goodness, you are lucky it's nice and sunny over there. I was in Kuwait and Iraq for a year. I love the heat. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely loved it. So, but here in Michigan, it's a little bit cold, but we're getting better. What's up, Survivalist Amber in the building? Have you guys seen the interview with Drew Petzing, Pride of Detroit? Petzing speaking about the Detroit Lions, speaking about the future and what they're going to do on the offense and everything. If you guys have not seen that, check it out. Pride of Detroit dropped it on their YouTube channel, as well as I think you can watch it on the Pride of Detroit. But this is one thing that I noticed about Petzing. Right off rip. Drew Petzing, right now, he is an analytical guru. He seems to be one of those guys that are detail-oriented. You can tell the way that he speaks. He's very confident, extremely confident in his coaching abilities. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but, I mean, he is. You can clearly tell. There's no second guessing. He already has a plan. He spoke about using the weapons and utilizing each weapon to the best ability. That's obviously what we want to hear. That's exactly what we want. We don't want to conform. We want our coordinator to conform to our roster, not the other way around. You fit a square peg into a square hole, not a square peg into a circle. So that's what I like. What's up with the Max Crosby rumors? Okay, we'll do some mailbag. They are legit rumors. Max Crosby's number one choice is Detroit. It is awesome. I would love for him to be here. There clearly is going to be other parties involved. I would fully suspect the Dallas Cowboys as well as the Chicago Bears. Cap space, and they have a lot of capital in regards to draft. But if the Lions wanted to do it, they can make it happen. Anybody that says that they can't, that is BS. There's multiple ways that they can make it happen. First off, in regards to cap, you can always restructure Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, St. Brown's contracts. The future of Kirby Joseph, we now know, is going to be a year to 2. So we know that his contract is not going to be, we're not going to go all the way to the full of his contract. So that will be off the books probably, I honestly expect probably after this year. After looking at Kirby Joseph's contract, he'll probably, unfortunately, not be a Lion after this year. It'll save the Lions a lot of cap. Taylor Decker's future, we don't know if he's going to retire or not. But if he retired this year or next year, well, you'd have to worry about next. Like, say Taylor Decker retired this year. Well, that's a lot of savings for this year. Say he decided not to. So you're making savings for this year for Crosby, but next year you know for a fact he's going to retire. So that's going to be off the books as well. See, And if there was a trade, it's probably going to involve a player, whether it be a Liam McNeil or something like that, so that would, whatever contract would be off the book. So I think they could make it happen. What is up, Nintendo Master 5500? Thank you so much for joining, and God bless you, my friend. Appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. Mr. Mike, Ahmed Hassanin is training early with private trainer, 121, getting more technique, getting ready in shape. Oh, and I absolutely, he's hungry, and I know your son is hungry. There is zero doubt in what your son brings in regards to effort. There is zero. And I don't think a single Lions fan would ever doubt that, and that's what we love. See, when you get into the NFL or you get into sports and when you make big money like this, and I'm sure you know this already, sometimes players can remove their, they don't want to give it the effort as much as they usually do, right? They take it down a little bit. Right, and so it's very difficult for franchises and all 32 teams to find individuals and players that it's not just about money. Obviously, it's about everything. Right, it's about personal growth, technique, being your best, doing it for your team, the moral value, moral stance, you, all of that stuff. And he clearly has that. There is no doubt in my mind, and he is definitely putting in the work, and absolutely, and that's awesome. I'm happy he's putting in the work. He needs to put in the work. All the players need to put in work to get better. The NFL is so difficult. It is so difficult. The talent is extremely high. We're talking about 1,600 players, the best in the world. There are 1,600 CM Punks out there, and so you got to work extremely hard. Ant-Man, you are the GOAT, man. You are the GOAT. You're the most underrated individual on YouTube, and I truly, truly do mean that. Your insights and understanding of everything is extremely high, and I would suggest that everybody subscribe to the Roar to Lions UK. Love Ant-Man. He is one of the best, the absolute best. The number 17th pick, I would throw up my mouth for Crosby. Here's the thing: if they were to do a trade, and you say we're going to go ahead and give up the 17th pick this year. If that was the case, it means Taylor Decker is coming back, guaranteed. I don't think there'd be a situation where if he retired, Crosby, the Lions is going to do it. You have to get a tackle. I'm sorry. You have to have a protector on the blind side of your quarterback, Jared Goff. Because if you don't have a blind side, it doesn't matter what you do. You're just going to get hit. Quarterbacks go down significantly. We see the injuries, right? Quarterbacks go down, and it's a lot in the NFL. Seems to be about half missed time each year. And so that's why it's so important to have that guy. So it's all really understanding that. I would not. If Taylor Decker retired and the Lions had to give up the 17th pick to get Max Crosby, some other picks, and Taylor Decker retired, I would actually say that's not a good idea because we need to have that blindside protector. Now, it most definitely could be Penei Sewell, right? Penei Sewell can move over to the right side, to the left side. The Lions could go ahead and draft a right tackle. Still, there's going to be issues, right? When you got to have that offensive line stout, and I truly do believe that they're going to make sure of that this year. So, yeah, I think that's going to be their number one concern is the offensive line, and that's going to come before anything else. Yeah, it's going to be dope. I really wanted to see him play in the final regular season game. I really wanted to see that. He's going to get a lot of opportunity in minicamp and training camp. I remember we had Zach Follett. You guys remember him? This was before I was on YouTube. I was actually pretty cool with Zach Follett. And I remember when, I forgot, was it Stephen Tulloch went down and he was placed in there, and we were talking about, he's given an opportunity that you got to try. And so it gives opportunities. He's going to have that. Is Kafka leaving us for the Seahawks? We haven't heard anything yet. There's been no news on that as of now. So hopefully not. Let's all fingers crossed, right? We don't want that to happen. But as of now, no, he is not left. Thank God. So, okay, McNeil, Branch, Montgomery, I don't care. Just make it happen. Now, when it comes to David Montgomery, I think he now stays. So he spoke with Drew Petzing. They had a great conversation. And you can tell the mood and attitude has changed with David Montgomery. I think he now stays. This was huge. Like, I don't want him to get traded. Think about this, guys. If you just keep Montgomery, you could, if you cut him or trade him, it would be a trade. You'd save $5 million. Okay? If you're going to do that, you have to go to me, it'd be you have to go to the draft route for RB2. Because if you were to just trade him and then you pick up another free agent running back, you're not saving money. Because you have to pay that free agent running back. So why not just keep the guy that's great? Doesn't make any sense to me. What are we going to save then? So you trade Montgomery. Then you're going to go pick up, we're going to pick up another running back, I don't know, for $3 million. So you save $2 million. Whoop-de-doo. Was it worth it? Did we saved money on Carlton Davis. We saved money on Carlton Davis for DJ Reed. But we saved like $4 million. Is that how much we saved? Was it worth it? Hell no. It was not worth it. So, if he is good, I don't think he's washed at all. It was all the interior, in my opinion, from what I saw. You could have a hell of a good campaign in 2020, 2026-7. We got a ton of picks. How many more picks do we need to have? No, seriously, David, we got a lot of picks. Do you think that every pick that we draft, if we stayed with the picks that we got now, do you think that every pick makes this team? There's no effing way. There's no way. There's no way. We got a first, a second. We got a first, second, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, 2 sevenths, or 2 6 and 2 7s. Now, if you're wanting to load up on picks and then trade up or get value, I'm with you. But there is no way that we should be drafting, 7, 8 players? There's no reason for it. I don't want to see them draft that many players because the odds are, because then you got to think about these rookies too, than last year's rookies. We did get Dan Jackson, Hassanin. There's other players that have barely even had time to even play, and we drafted them last year. Hassanin is a 6th round pick. He didn't even play. So if we're going to draft these players in the 6th round and the 7th round, they're not even going to play. So take these picks and then move up. I'm with that with you. Now I am with that with you, David Barth. If you tell me that, oh, hell yeah. Max Crosby for Jamison Williams straight up. Move Tesla to number 2 position and shore up the defense. Whoa, Chad the Historian, he just went up there with a straight up one. What do you guys think of this trade? Max for JMO, the value, oof. You got to think JMO's on the uprise, right? And he legit could be a number 1 wide receiver for any team. I don't think the Lions would do it. He is now developed into a Dan Campbell type of guy. But if you're to tell me the value, honestly, if you're the Raiders, you'd look at that and you'd think, man, you got a young and up-and-comer guy who's young, speedster. Man, you could pair him up with a young quarterback they take with the first pick. Honestly, that's kind of enticing for them. But I think for the Raiders, the best thing for that organization is just draft picks, right? They probably just want to get a boatload of draft picks. And like the New York Jets did, in which I think is the greatest decision that they did as a franchise, is trading away all those players in the offseason. They got like 5 million first-round picks. What's the easiest way, David said, to beef up the offensive line? Well, David, great question. Let me put it up here. Thank you for that. I think the best way is one in free agency, one in the draft. And you get a center in free agency, whether it be Linderbaum or whoever. There's going to be other guys, and maybe the Arizona Cardinals release theirs. We don't know. And I think the Lions must draft with the 17th pick. You've seen all my mock drafts. I'm not changing my first pick. It's not going to be, I'm not going to change it just to give you guys, oh, this is different. It's going to be a tackle with that 17th pick. And I believe it's at Caden Proctor. But it could be, Caleb Lomu or something like that. But so to beef up the offensive line, you're going to draft a tackle at 17. Whether Taylor Decker is here or not, whether he's not. And to pick up a center in free agency. Because then you have a really young offensive line for the long haul, right? You'd have a young left tackle, 21, 22. Your guard is going to be Mahogany, or if they're battling it out with Frazier. Anyways, they're both young. If you picked up a center, he could be, maybe 28. Maybe he'd be the older one of the veteran, or he's younger if you got Linderbaum lucky, 25. Your guard, who we picked up last year in the second round, Ratledge, he's young. Penei Sewell's only 24 years old. That's how you beef up that's how you switch it. And I do think that the Lions need to completely revamp it. And if they do those two things, the offensive line will be good for a couple years, for a long time. If they do picked up a center that's 28, right? He's a little bit older. Then next year you can pick up a center in the draft, or you just picked one later in this year's draft in the fourth round or the fifth round or something like that to develop to see if that could be a replacement. Either way, I mean, that's a pretty good change of pace in how they would do that. Yay. 2 picks in the top 115. You got to use some restructure money to brave free agency. Yeah, you're going to have to do some, but we got rollover, and you're going to, Ant-Man, what they're going to do. Jared Goff's contract will get restructured. You already know that's going to free up probably $30 million, and then they're probably going to restructure St. Brown's. It's going to free up some money. That's all they really got to do, to be honest with you. It's not going to be too difficult. And if you look at, and if they do restructure those 2 big contracts that make it more, more money down the years for those guys, they're going to be here for the long haul anyways. Does anyone expect that St. Brown's not going to be here till he probably retires? He's going to be here till he retires. I think Jared Goff's here another at least 4 years, so that's kind of what I got going on. So I don't want to lose any of our players. Use draft picks to address our needs and look for free agents as needed. It's, you're going to have to lose some players. We can't keep everybody, and I think it's important to lose some players. Some of these guys needs, I look at Levi Nwuzurike, Joshua Pascal. I know they got another year on their deal because of their, they didn't play this year. Some of these guys, we got to just let go. And I'm not being a prick, and it has nothing to do with them personally, but we got to have individuals that can stay healthy on this football team. And if you're an individual that cannot stay healthy, whether you're free agent or draft, in my opinion, I think it's just time to cut bait. But that's me. They're not doing it like I do it. But that's just me. Who is on the top of your cut list? Well, I think Greg Glasgow retires. But he's not going to be on the team in 2026. His money is $8 million. They save. He's not going to be on this team. So whether he cuts or retires, he won't be in this team. Taylor Decker, the only way he's not on this team, folks, is if he retires. He will be here. The Lions are not going to cut him. The only way he's not on this team is if he retires. Alex Anzalone is a free agent. I don't believe he's coming back. I wish we could cut DJ Reed, but the dead cap is too much. I don't think I'm not impressed with what he brought to the Lions. I was always a little concerned because of his size, and it showed. I don't see the Lions trading Montgomery now because he wants to be here with Dave Petzing offense. Could there be some other guys that, yeah, I mean, but straight up, the big names that we know about, not really. You think it happened to the linebacker since Anzalone's gone? Not much. Jack Campbell take over the mic last year for sure. The Lions got pretty good depth there. Look, Malcolm Rodriguez is a free agent. They could bring him back. They honestly could just draft a guy, too. They got pretty good depth there. They can use other guys, to be honest with you. But Jack Campbell stepped up so much, it makes it not like we really need Alex. And I feel like, I don't know what you guys think. Did he lose a little bit of a step last year? I'm going to say, yeah. He lost a step. And if that's the case, do you really want to, he's older. Do you really want to play with that, or you just want to just go younger there? Drinking game next season. I got to come up with something. It says Cut Barnes, a 55 PFF grade. There's some bad part of Barnes' game, but he's got some good part of his game as well. But they're not going to cut him, unfortunately, if you're wanting to think that. I think he'd be fine. But is he the best? No. Is he the worst? No. Let's see. So I don't believe the Lions will break up the wide receiver core. Yeah, I don't think they're going to break it up. I think Khalif Raymond is the one that we got to wait for. He'd be the only one. It's going to be all the same guys except for him. We just don't know what other individuals is going to do it. But yeah, I fully expect everybody. The question mark for the wide receiver core is just Khalif Raymond. And if Leaf, here's my thing with Leaf. I love Leaf. I think he's great. He's one of my faves. But we need to have Tesla. He needs to get the ball. And if Leaf wanted to come back, you'd have to do it at a significantly reduced role. Because I don't want to see him at wide receiver 3. I want to see Tesla at wide receiver 3 on Sundays. That's me. Maybe I'm a prick. But when you spend three third-round picks on a player who is a Puka Nacua type of replica, I want to see him on the field. And he needs to get those reps, and Petzing needs to give him the ball. You know, we got young guys that are hungry. We need to feed the young guys. You know, that's what we got to do. That's the whole point. We need to feed these young men. If we continue not to make the playoffs, how many more years do you think Dan has? The team, I expect us to make the playoffs unless he flounders in the draft. The Lions will make the playoffs this year. We have a fourth-place schedule. Honestly, dude, the Lions will make, I think they will. But they have to build that offensive line and get a pass rusher. Just one. Hashtag FGP, I'm sure you've answered this. Any idea on what to do next with Max Crosby? Devin Davis, yes, I've talked about this. And it's a real thing, guys. I think he does get traded before the draft. I think he's gonzos. Okay? It doesn't make sense from if you work for the Raiders, why wouldn't you get draft picks for a 28-year-old, soon to be 29-year-old, and you're the first pick in the draft? You know you're not going to be competing for a Super Bowl this year or next year. So from them, yeah, you want to do it. He wants to play for a contender. His number one team he wants to play for is the Detroit Lions. It's Dan Campbell. That is a fact. But there's going to be other teams that's going to be in on it. Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears. I think they're going to be really trying to get him. And it's going to be ultimately up to the franchises, the two franchises. So Look, my fear is that the Bears get him. I want the Lions to try. It's all I got to do is T-R-Y. Try. If you try and fail, perfectly fine. I don't want to overbid for anybody. I don't want to overpay for anybody. But to stand back and do nothing is unacceptable. And there's no excuse for that. There's zero excuse. And I don't want to hear from anybody. Well, it's cap, this. No. Only thing that matters is now. Only thing matters is this year. I'm tired of waiting. I'm 40 years old. We've been building for, if you have an opportunity, if this player is available and you can make your offensive line good to go, he will give you a chance to win a Super Bowl. You do that, okay? It's not difficult to understand. We've seen the last 2 years. The winner of these Super Bowls, the last 2 years, and we've seen it, is pass rush, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. What have we seen in the last 2 years? What is it? Quarterbacks getting annihilated with consistent pressure of the front four. When you have that, it's so hard for the opposing quarterback to do a damn thing. Look at the Super Bowl. Look how flustered Drake May was. He was MVP candidate. Tom Brady trying to win a Super Bowl when their team was undefeated with the Giants. Pass rush. Lost. Eagles. Pass rush. Lost. You win in the trenches. Offense and defensive line. That's what it is. We have seen it and we have watched it. If you watch any sports, you know that's exactly what it is. But if it is too much, then absolutely not. I'm not willing to sacrifice too much. If the team can get better, yes. If it's a net negative, no. But you try to always get better, to win Super Bowls. Everyone said, the trade deadline did nothing. We heard that, right? This last year, the trade deadline did nothing. Did it do anything for the Seattle Seahawks? The team that's holding a Lombardi trophy, that absolutely molly-whopped the Patriots. That wide receiver they traded for, making a big plays. Hey. And I still come back to this because people say, oh, you talk about this too much, bro. 2 years ago in San Francisco, if we have Danielle Hunter on the opposite side, we win that game and we win that Super Bowl. Remember that trade deadline? I was just get one pass rusher, just one. And off is that free agent is get him. Why is that? When you have an elite pass rush, it takes one play to game change. In San Francisco, if we have one play, and there would have been a lot more with Danielle Hunter, one play, all we needed was one. Folks, we have a ring. Say, Mike, you're just blowing smoke up to, get the subscribers to like you. No, my career runs on this. If the Lions are in the Super Bowl, I am in the Super Bowl. Calling the game at the Super Bowl. On the sideline. You don't think I don't want that? That's a personal thing. And I'm a Lions fan. I'm a diehard fan. Don't think I want that? Play to win a game, man. Play to win Super Bowls. And you play to win rings. Not to be relevant. The Rams, they did these aggressive trades, and it was like, oh, you lost all these draft picks. Does this really matter? They've still been good forever. Hell, they could have won. Whatever NFC team wins the Super Bowl this year wins it. And they're close to the Seahawks. So, there's a will, there's a way. And that's the way that I see it. And we, as Lions fans, must expect this team for greatness. Not for being good, but to be great. That's what every team strives for. The NFC is striving for that right now. The NFC North specifically. You don't think the Bears are going to be loading up on defense? You don't think they're going to be blowing all this money on getting defensive players if they were just really close to a Super Bowl? Look what the Packers did. They get Micah Parsons. The Vikings, who knows what they're going to do? Probably going to get Kirk Cousins. Maybe they get a quarterback. They're going for it, dude. Everybody knows the AFC is weak as F right now. And the NFC is stacked right now. Going into that Super Bowl, I don't think anybody predicted the Patriots to win. The NFC is just better. We got a $5 super chat.
Combo breaker!
I think losing Ragnow from Bradley Mustaine, 1537. Thanks so much, my friend. God bless you. I think losing Ragnow is the biggest loss in 2025. Should we draft a center early? If they don't pick one in free agency, they should take one early. And I think that, if they don't get one in free agency, which I actually fully believe they do, guys. But say they don't, I'd say you want to have a center by round 2. I do believe they get one in free agency. And look, if they get a premium one, great. I don't know about that. If they get a decent one, you could get probably a center in the 4th, 5th round, more developmental. But 1,000%, they're fixing this offensive line, and you're gonna get your wish. We're gonna have a new center. Have I let you down, guys? When I put my thing on it, they're gonna do that. I told you a while ago Dan Skipper was gonna be hired by the Lions. It was like big news yesterday that he officially got hired by the Lions. I knew that a while ago. They're gonna fix this offensive line. So that is gonna happen. We just don't know exactly, what. I love Tyler Linderbaum, but again, we gotta wait. The Ravens could just franchise tag him, right? They could make him a high paid. I'm not worried about the Giants, right? Harbaugh went to the Giants. They need a center. Obviously familiar. But there's other individuals as well. So thank you so much for that question. I think we trade up for 12 and edge if we don't get Crosby. I do not believe at all that we trade up to get a pass rusher. Because they need to get a lineman, a tackle in the draft. I have identified Caden Proctor a couple months ago. Brad Holmes has been to Alabama. He's watching him. We've already seen staff talk to him. He's projected to be there. Swing tackle. I mean, it literally is. I remember putting during the draft, I didn't want the Lions to draft Jeffrey Okudah. I marked that as that's exactly who they're going to take. And I identified that a while ago. Penei Sewell, that draft a couple years ago, I identified that's exactly who the Lions are going to take. If he falls to them at 7. If Caden Proctor is there, I fully believe that's who the Lions are going to take. If he's not there, Caleb Lomu. But I do think those are the two probably biggest targets. A lot of the linemen, but I do think they get taken. There's some really good linemen out of Miami. I don't think, there's just no way he makes out of the top 10. Francis Mwaga. Connor McGovern's a good option. Only the people losing their bets. Says you're 40, Mike. I'm fast approaching. Yes, I am 40 years old. Congratulations in approaching the age of 40. It's crazy. It's crazy. Being 40 years old is a weird thing. But, guys, I got to get ready for a radio interview. You'll be on 94.9 at 8 p.m. for West Michigan, Grand Rapids. That's the radio station it's going to be on. So, got to get ready for that. Got to eat really quick. So, I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for hanging out. Adios.